This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
It's Tony Galwell Shit Show. And I know that the show is Tony Galwell Shit Show. And I know,
All right. How you getting on, you clown?
yeah.
Fucking squeak that shit at me, you fucking clown. Jeez, you fucking missed your mouth on that pie there, you fucking clown. It's all over your bloody stupid face. You're after dyeing your hair green, you fucking clown. What colour didn't say in the box? It's my impression of someone who's never met a clown. His fucking shoes are fucking far too big for you, you fucking clown. What size did you ask for? Bloody a million? Yes, that's some cunt and big bow tie you got there, you fucking clown. That's probably a fucking jacket you're after wrapping up. It's so bloody big. You fucking clown, you. Circuits, something. Whatever. Look, listen, Liv. How you keeping? You good? I'm staring out of my rear window here, if you know what I mean. That does not mean that I have bent over revealing my sphincter. I mean, I'm staring at my rear window. It means I'm in my fucking car again, by the way, and I'm looking at the rear window, and I can see a big giant pile of leaves beside the hedge. Because I trimmed the hedge, if you know what I mean. I'm not talking about you. And I trimmed the hedge with a fucking chainsaw, by the way. I didn't know if they told you, mate, but when you're a grown-up, they let you use a chainsaw. You can use a chainsaw on leaves when you're a grown-up. You can have a bag of Haribos in your pocket, which you scoff into your greedy, piggy little mouth on your breaks from using a chainsaw. This is what people fucking moan about having a job where they sit at a computer all day. Do you know what I mean? Think of where you came from. Being a grown-up is cool, man. Anyway, I'm staring at the hedge, which I used a chainsaw, famously, to trim. And there's a big pile of leaves on the ground. And Terry's pointed out a couple of times, being, can you pick up those leaves? Because I didn't pick up the leaves. I chainsawed that fucking bush into some fucking modesty. I'm swearing a lot. I put some manners on that bush. Cubed it up. You know? Today was a good day because I used a chainsaw to cube up my bush. What am I talking about? Yeah, and then all the leaves fell on the ground. And Terry was like, why didn't you pick them up? And it's hard to explain to like a sane person just how boring that would have been after using it. Did I say it was a chainsaw? Skin your ass raw. And that the chasm of dopamine, the valley of dopamine between using a chainsaw and picking up the leaves was so vast. That can't be the action that follows using a chainsaw. I should have come in from chainsawing and gone upstairs and made sweet, passionate, consensual love to my wife. Or in whatever order you want to put those. You can rejig them in any order. But anyway, so picking up fucking leaves, you messing. Like, that's like having sprouts for dessert at Eddie Rockets. But I will pick them up at some point. Because, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out when inspiration hits. But I'm in my fucking car again. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I like you. I like you and I fancy you. But I got to apologize. I have to apologize. I've been inconsistent with this podcast. I know. I've been inconsistent with putting this out. And you know what? Oh, wasn't Gary this time. Someone else was sneaking in. And I realized that I've known this person probably my whole life, but this was the person that snuck in. It was like fucking. They were a seductress in my mind. This voice that popped into my head, kind of a, Lola Bunny meets Jessica Rabbit. Lola Rabbit. Okay. And she was saying to me, here, you're feeling a bit tense about doing a podcast now because you haven't done one, or you didn't do one last week and you've been inconsistent. Look, just pull the plug on the whole thing. That's not what I'm doing, by the way. But it was like, she was like, look, I'm here to take care of you. I'm here to look after you. Okay. I don't like this stress. You're already very busy, making very like convincing arguments to pull the plug on the whole sordid affair. And I was like, that actually sounds pretty fucking sweet because I'm feeling pretty anxious right now. And what you're saying here is alleviating that a little bit. And but then I was like, okay, but what you're actually suggesting is, pull the plug on the whole fucking thing. Stop doing it. And you'll think to yourself, but you'll focus that time onto another project or you'll improve something. What is that thing? Done up. Blah, 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 blah. That's not important. Hey, look at these tits. Blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about that. And this is what the voice does. This fucking, Lola Rabbit. Maybe Jessica Bunny makes sense. Jessica Bunny I prefer. Jessica Bunny's like, just making very, very convincing argument. And I'm feeling good chatting to her, But then I'm like, all right, but that's way, like, that's fucking way too drastic, to be honest. That's pretty, and I'm fucking, I can't tell you how how triggering it is to me to be shit at like a job, not even like a performance, not like a bomb or whatever, and it wouldn't affect me too much, but like, patterns of recognizing inconsistency or something. I'm like, oh, don't like that now, because I've been fired from so many jobs, as I'm sure you know if you've listened to this podcast. And I'm so bad at regular jobs. Like if there is an opportunity to, like, if there's an opportunity to just grab doing fuck all, I'll take it. If there's a sliver of opportunity to do fuck all, even for a microsecond, if there's like 8 hours and no one's in the office, like, I'm going to take the whole 8 hours to do fuck all, and like it's a compulsion. I'm an ineptomaniac, I'm a freak. I have to take it. I'm like Winona Ryder, and they're like, "Why'd you do this?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I fucked around all day. It's a compulsion, I was once, I've told you about the stockroom job, where I had a very, wound up Italian manager who would always say, I'm not a mind reader. Why you move the boots and you swapped him with the Havaianas? I'm not a mind reader. He would say that to me all the time. But he was like the assistant manager, but the actual manager, right? Let me tell you, this stockroom was such a fucking kip, and I was so bad at running it that they brought in a fella from head office, right? He had a look at it, and he just said, all right, thanks very much, Tony. And he went upstairs and he fired my manager. He fired my manager. And then this guy from head office, who actually like is a stranger, do you know what I mean? But when someone's like, oh, I'm from head office, and then they come here and talk to me, and you're, it's a weird dynamic. Like, you're still a stranger, but I'm like, okay, yeah, a stranger. Isn't it mad? Isn't status fucking mad? Like a complete stranger you've never met. You're just like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, yep, all good. You can't just be like, nice to meet you. Whoa. Whoa, what are you telling me here? I don't know. I don't know an impression to do when you're on the same status. I don't know if anything I've said in the last couple of minutes makes sense. But they fired him, and then I went into the room with this stranger, and the guy from head office was like, we're so sorry you've had to work like this. And like, and I'm like, you mean in the shrine of filth that I that I built myself against many hurdles, I was able to overcome this den of filth, this cardboard kip of filth. I was able, but I said, "Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's been tough." And then 2 weeks later, like he fired me because he was like, "Oh." I guess I assumed it was so bad that no one man could have done this alone. He acted in tandem with one of the managers. They were building a shrine to a satanic cardboard god, Mr. Thin, the Prince of Darkness. So I got fired from there after that. Another one I got was, I've told you about the time when I made 0 sales in 6 months and I'd somehow weaseled my way into having my own office at a big WeWork office where they had unlimited beer and they gave me a MacBook. And I took that opportunity to do fuck all for good money, because it's a compulsion. But anyway, so there was even when I worked in the camera shop, right? Remember they told me before I started there, they were like, look, it's easy. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of footfall coming through here, but so you make a lot of sales, but I tell you, it's never going to be like, oh, when we opened the store, like, third day, we made 0 sales, and that, mate, that is never happening again. And I was like, yeah, all right, cool. And then proceeded to do like 2 weeks straight and no sales, like 2 weeks straight, and they shut down the shop. Now there's a lot of fucking gobdaws in there with me. My best friends, actually, who are still my best friends here in Dublin. The 3 of us were allowed to work in this shop, unsupervised by a peer of an adult. So I hate being, but I hate being shit. It's weird for someone who's so. I should have just identified as it, or just pivoted into a career that better suited me, like the creative arts, Marhampla. But anyway, so I hate being inconsistent with this podcast. It makes me, because I don't have, I think I have a good perspective on things, but I don't have, I don't have to do many things that I don't want to do, really, on a day-to-day basis. Now, I also am probably doing a job that for some people they would hate to do, on a day-to-day basis. And I tell you what, when you love something, you never work a day in your life. What am I even saying that for? I'm saying that because, yeah, whatever. This would be an example of something where I'm like, oh, I hate that, being inconsistent with this, and it probably is still as inconsistent as it is, the most consistent thing that I've done. But it made me realize as well, right, that in this, Jessica Bunny situation, I'm aware to Gary one that's kind of like that. I just think that's shit. What you're doing is shit. Why would you say that? That was a dumb thing to say. That's not interesting. Boring. All that kind of shit that you'd hear, in your head. This other fucking voice of like, that was tough. So like, order Chinese. It's the same fucking Jessica Bunny. I can't believe I'm actually using this as a genuine, earnest example. A big-titted hybrid of Lola Bunny and Jessica Rabbit, but still. Or it's like, do you know what? You tried that sport, and I don't think you liked how not doing good at it made you feel. So you should probably just, yeah, come on, let's just, have a look at these tits. Let's go over here. I think this voice has actually been my best friend. Like, I think Jessica Bunny has been my best friend for as long as I have a kind of, for as long as I've been sentient. As you know, babies are not sentient. They're plants until they're 3. But I genuinely, for as long as I can remember, I've always found a way to comfort myself in some capacity, whether it's food, whether it's, you know, not doing something that I didn't want to do, going to work, calling in sick, you know. I used to think it was an absence of a voice telling me to do it and not an incredibly loud voice, you know, an incredibly sexy voice, uh, telling me not to do it, you know. And I'm being quiet here because I don't know what I've run out of things to say. So, you know, don't conflate that with, you know, that I paused kind of wistfully or mournfully or anything. But you know what? Me even saying that is that Gary kind of steering me away from having a genuine moment. Who's to say? Who's to say? But but yeah, I think I've been pretty fucking close knit with them big old tits in the head. What am I fucking talking about? But I also think that kind of going easy on yourself. Yeah, there's something, of course, to it. But there's you know, go easy on yourself, but don't allow, you know, delusion. Don't get hypnotized by the tits is what I'm saying. Do you know, like the life still has to happen. You can go easy on yourself, but then, you know, you got to pick up the fucking leaves, bro. You got to pick up the leaves. I know it's boring, or I know, sorry, not even boring, because this podcast is never boring, but I know you don't want to do it because you have a different feeling in picking up the leaves than you had in using a chainsaw. I mean, I love cancelled plans. I love cancelled anything. I love the gift of the gift of guilt-free time, just kind of just placed in your lap, you know. And there's a freedom in the, you know, the lack of responsibility for being involved in a cancelled plan. It's almost like for a brief second, you know, you or for however long the cancelled event was supposed to run, you kind of have this ease, this kind of like, well, I can't be getting anything wrong here because I've just been given this extra bit. You know, I'm not beholden to anyone. There's no expectation of me. There's no, you know, I'm not letting anyone down because this time was unaccounted for. I'm not going to get anything wrong because, you know, because it's pretty hard to fuck up scrolling on your phone and having a wank, to be honest. But still, the time was given to you. And I actually think that fucking Jessica Bunny, like, was able to fully pull the tits over my eyes in that you know, cancelled plans for me did feel like, do feel like a chainsaw. Skin your ass raw. These analogies are all over the fucking place. But still, you know, I was able to, you know, or I am able to, in some cases, just let myself off completely from the guilt, or ignore it so effectively, or ignore the anxiety so effectively that it's as good as someone else canceling the plan. And I tell you, my therapist really needs to come back from paternity leave, is what I've just figured out. Or, do you know, maybe it's not a fucking Lola Rabbit thing, because maybe it's a fucking shape-shifting sea hag, to be honest. I don't want to be giving her that level of power. Um, but I don't know. People probably already have this. This is probably a well-identified thing of having another very comforting, alleviating anxiety voice. It might not even be. It might actually even be like a fucking, you know, a granny thing. You know, like your granny just being, I'll leave it, pet. You tried your best. You're okay. You know, not in the sexy way. But this wouldn't be a sexy example. You know, or some fucking, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how it could manifest in your head. But I definitely know that I've had a very close personal relationship with someone who's always been trying to make me feel better, but maybe did not have my best interests at heart. And I'm realizing, I now realize where I got it. And I would recommend heavily for parents to give your kids the adequate tool set to, you know, self-soothe, you know, because trust me, I've tried. You're not going to find it at the bottom of a bag of Haribo, brother. You're right. You're not going to find it at the. It's not stamped into the bottom of a bottle of a 2-liter bottle of Coke. And last time I checked, they don't have it etched into the tin at the bottom of a 4-in-1. I've gone too mad with this example now. I caught myself in a little poetic loop. And I wasn't able to break it. So that was too many examples of that. But yeah, either way, my therapist has to get back from maternity leave. I feel like I'm done in this case to the best of my ability. As you know, I'll try and be I'm always trying to be consistent. I'm always mispronunciating my worms. Look, I'm not throwing no fucking baby out with no bath water. All right? My eyes are up here, not on the tits. So let me acknowledge that I'm sorry that this podcast was inconsistent. And I'll do my best to get it out when it's supposed to go out, every Tuesday. All the best. Bye-bye.
It's Tony Garwell Shit Show. And I know that the show is Tony Garwell Shit Show. And I know, yeah.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.